Hello, Music Multiverse listeners, and welcome to Beyond Your Radio. And this is Keep It Dark, Ark-itects of Doom. There are just some wildly calibrated architects in the music multiverse some of you know, like that of Atticus Ross, Trent Reznor, Goblin, and a more horror macabre for the progressive cinematique Doom level. Maybe Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, and really that's not the utter sound here technically. There are those that like to stay grounded, like Earthless, or lesser known, maybe Esben and the Witch. But really, what I found here tonight is a bit beyond that. A band that's been utilizing a brand of cinematic meets stoner doom and even sludge amok in the design, the audio landscape of it all, reaching for a more murky mood of blues doom, but keeping unique sound designs in it all. It's kind of off guard a little, and then just when you've got them nailed down, not what happens. Kind of in that instrumental opeth meets like a Russian circles, and an ambient that doomifies maybe even the great Daniel Lanois, while even touching upon a band from last week, Oranssi Pazuzu. But suddenly, this year of past, suddenly we get Gothic entry after years of albums, as Dana, the founder of the band, takes to the microphone in a fistful of scornish, dark love, lorn antics that will be as romantic as the dark black thorny rose that seems to be centered around her creativity, her creativeness, her aura. Perhaps her alter male ego would be James Maynard Keenan of Tool. Although, let's venture into the darkness for the architects of an interesting spin on stoner doom rock. Insect Ark, Germany, an experimental cinematic noise band with Dana Schechter at the bass, lap steel guitar, electronics, who knows what else at that point. And then enter this time, at this point, Tim Waskita, who is drums, electronics too as well. That is remnants of the touted dark blackened music, spirit noise of Swans, if you know where people are from. Dana and her dark duo Plasma have been venturing out into the cinematic doom noise since probably 2015's Portal/Well album, but in actuality, that's 2011 when they actually started as a band with just herself and the other duoist, Amy, who was on drums at the time. Now, Dana is a threat in all things, and probably has that feel to you of someone as ominous as maybe that bass player from Hole, Melissa Off der Muir. So in skill, in artistry, but here goes someone that steps beyond this, all kinds of electronica, which puts her in a league with Lanois in that regard in some cases, but try a heavy spreading of Goblin, and maybe it meets a little Mark Snow or Ross and Reznor again. Now, Mark Snow, in case and I'm name dropping here, you don't know, that would be from the X-Files soundtracks and stuff, as well as other TV shows he's done. Until she recently decided to share her vocal in a gothic sense on the most recent album, kind of like a breathy lustness. And that is the new album, Raw Blood Singing, and it came out in 2024, which sort of pictured in this cover. So it's a step, it's an immense record, like that of those in the past, but this one just a little bit more different because they added vocal, but she's terrifyingly at her best with the drummer here, Tim Waskita. So he comes from Kanade and Idiot God, right? I believe Dana is also not only talented in the idea of music, but illustration, as well as she can do anime apparently. So she is just immersed in this, like in the dark arts, like Snape from Slytherin. If you want to go there, but you got 2015's Portal Well. You've also got 2018's Marrow Hymns, which has a more stoner rock in it than the ambience, I think, more so, if I remember correctly. That album I didn't think was as cinematic, electronic in that regard. The Vanishing in 2020, which has a different drummer on it at that time, that is a dense, immense record too, and has much more. But now we're at Raw Blood Singing in 2024, and we are definitely in a different atmosphere, an ambient, terroristic kind of environment that's very lovelorn, but in a dark form. It's truly an amazing record. It has a lot going. It's very intense. So why this kind of music? Now that I've kind of taken you through the years, and again, I have not been listening to this band for years and years, but this is the impressions that the albums have left on me over the last several weeks, that I've been listening to one album more so than others. I mean, for me, The Vanishing in 2020 and Raw Blood Singing definitely show you the scope of what instrumentally there was, and now instrumentally still with now Dana, I believe, at the helm of the vocal, but I can't be absolutely sure. It's shape-shifting. It's pitch black luster de force, with all kinds of showmanship to the art of stoner rock, doom, sludge, and even more so in the cinematic crawl spaces that it invents, and atmospheric macabre that it builds and does a tremendous job of, and not letting any cheese fall. So you don't have that idea of parasomnia from Dream Theater, which I'm not knocking Parasomnia's Dream Theater. I'm just knocking the idea that it's scary. It's not. This is, again, I mentioned Esben and the Witch. These are dark, intense recordings. I think this is true scary. It's a succubus calling out to you. Think about, the movie Lair of the Worm, but more like the worm is a pulsating composer, leading you into places that are terrifyingly exotic but uneasy to see. Ingeniously rhythmic. They're intense, and somehow still having a sense of rock, a sense of stoner rock, even melody and progressive-like natures that give you a sense and a hint of common ground, like that of Goblin. It's shaky at best, but beneath your feet, your listening ears will say, keeps you there enough to enjoy every record, every track, while slightly scaring you to death, or giving you a latex form of claustrophobia, or even a sense of hellish chasm of darkness with minimal sight lines and maybe an ambiguously murking figures that must have found their way there too. You're not alone. I know why you're there, and I know why you're here. It's interesting what you hear, you heard, or what you thought you heard. Thank you for taking this journey of sound with me. I always enjoy these. I will see you next week for Death Loves Veronica, apparently, for more from the dark side of music. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course. Articles, videos, podcasts. It's all about albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Please join us Saturday, for Album Review Saturday, we are going to be joined by Sycophant. They're not only going to talk about their new forthcoming EP, Red Sun, they're going to be reviewing the 3 albums with us, with me and Dam. I don't know if any other panelists will be joining us, but they were all invited. It's truly going to be a special day and for us, and I hope you join. Go beyond your radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy listening.